Hello everyone, my name is Nirgudkar. I'm the CEO of Patient Prism, and I'm here live at the DEO Fall Summit titled Doubling Dental. And I'm here with my great friend, Brian Colao from Dykema. He's the director of the Dykema DSO industry group and one of the most prominent lawyers in America, representing hundreds and hundreds of DSOs across the country, and really has somebody who has actually the pulse of this industry more than anybody I've known in the last 5 years that I have known you. Thank you, Brian, for coming.
Well, really good to be here, and good to see you and
Yes,
be
sir.
here together in person again. Terrific.
You know, one of the big things that we talk about a lot at lunches and conferences and dinners is this rapid emergence of the DSO industry post 2020, right? And I cannot believe what we're going through right now is truly a renaissance. Talk to us about what you've seen this industry coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, it intensified beyond what we were seeing in 2018, 2019. I mean, we were on a record pace in 2019, and the first, maybe 2 months of 2020 looked like it was going to be an absolute record. And yeah, it got slowed down, March, April, May, June, June, July of 2020, and then it came back with a roar the last half of 2020. It was the busiest third and fourth quarter of the 27 years I've been doing this, except now we're in the busiest fourth quarter. Like 2020 was the busiest fourth quarter, but the way it's going now, 2021 is going to be the busiest fourth quarter. So it really came roaring back. I mean, the middle market is exploding. I mean, the very large DSOs are doing deals,
right,
like they always have, and they're doing some high profile deals, but the middle market is just exploding right now. We were talking Amal before about an organization last year that had no practices, and they've got 40 right now.
That's right.
They got another 15, 20 under LOI before the end of the year. So there's crazy things happening like that in the middle market, like going, like if it was a car, 0 to 60 in 12, 13 months, something like that.
What's fueling this rapid consolidation? Is it the taxes, or is it just the understanding that the DSO framework is the optimal framework for growth of this industry?
Well, there's a number of factors at play. One, it is the fear of the new administration and taxes. That's motivating sellers to go ahead and affiliate with DSOs. That's one thing that's going on. Second thing that's going on is the pandemic has scared some folks. They said, this was a scary place to be all by myself.
Right.
Maybe I need a partner, if something like this ever happens again. And I think it's, it's conceivable. I hope we don't see something quite like this, but I think at some point in the next, 10, 20, 30 years,
right,
there could be another pandemic or something, and I think people are worried about that. And then there's an insatiable demand from the buyers, right? So it's not just sellers that are motivated to sell due to changes in the tax code, due to the fears of the pandemic, but the dental industry has been recession proof. Now it's even pandemic proof.
Right.
So there's an insatiable demand from the buyers. So extreme
right,
demand from the buyers, motivated sellers, and it's led to this just, absolutely insane climate that we're in now from an M&A standpoint.
And I think there's also a further understanding that the demand for dentistry is so robust and strong, and we haven't even scratched the surface, right? Most people, haven't even seen a dentist.
It's like 60% of the population doesn't go to the dentist.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
And that's shocking. So everything that we're talking about, these conferences, all these deals, all this
Right.
M&A, is 40% of the business.
That's right.
It's just crazy.
And on top of that, there's just opportunity within dentistry to do more services. Like you're seeing a lot of medical integration.
Correct.
Across
spas, med spa integration, medical integration, vision. A confluence of optometry and dentistry. I mean, just a ton of things like that.
How does that work? And this might be a question that I didn't plan to ask you, but I want to ask you anyway. How does that, from a legal standpoint, how does it work when a dental support organization decides to incorporate other areas like vision or aesthetics or something like that in the?
It becomes a regulatory project only on the clinical side, because
Okay.
a DSO, can manage a dental practice, it can manage a veterinarian clinic, it could manage a med spa, it could manage a vision clinic. I mean, there's no regulations preventing a DSO from managing any, medical or dental practice because, of course, it's providing non-clinical administrative support services. Where the issue comes in is, for example, I don't know if it's vision. You can't have a dentist own a vision clinic. So you have to collaborate with an optometrist or an ophthalmologist or something, and they would own one clinical entity to do vision, and then the dentist would own another clinical entity to do dentistry, and then they might be under the same roof. Like the patient goes to one place and can get both services, but it's actually a separate practice that's going to be managed by, the DSO potentially. So there's no issue on the management side, but on the clinical side, you got to follow rules.
Are you guys at Dykema helping DSOs navigate these challenges? I know you guys have the biggest practice group in the country.
We have almost 100 MSOs, though. People don't know that. They know we have hundreds and hundreds of DSOs, but what they may not know is we have almost 100 MSOs that we represent. So we're really branching out beyond dentistry into, veterinarian, optometry, ophthalmology, radiology, orthopedic surgery, freestanding private emergency rooms, primary care physicians. I mean, things like that.
And I think because you do all those, it's easier for you to advise the DSOs on how to appropriately integrate this from a compliance
Dentistry
standpoint.
Still remains the most challenging regulatory environment. Like, the medical attorneys don't like me, but when I say, if you can do dentistry, you can do anything. The medicine's not that hard. A lot of the folks that do the medicine side, they try to jump into dentistry. Very difficult. I mean, it's a different climate. Things that are permissible in medicine are not permissible here, but if you can navigate dentistry, you can do all the medical disciplines.
Interesting. One of the big things that's happening now is this movement that you were part of creating, which is the Women in DSO movement.
Yes.
Obviously, Dr. Rahman Kaur had the vision and the idea and the concept, and it came about, and you were a big supporter of this movement from the ground up. From day one, you were present at the meetings. Tell us what's going on with the Women in DSO organization. And I hear there's some things happening in 2022.
Yeah, this has really been one of the highlights of my professional career, and I don't take that lightly. I've been privileged to do a lot of stuff in my career, but being asked to be on the board and being the only, at least for now, male member of the board of Women in DSO has been a really tremendous highlight of my career. We started this in 2020, but then the pandemic hit and it got sort of slowed down a little, but it really picked up in 2021. They had a launch party at the Dykema conference in July. We're going to have our inaugural event March 9th through the 11th in Las Vegas. Anybody listening to this, please go to womanindso.org, register for Women in DSO. It's not just for women, men can register too, and attend the inaugural event. I mean, it's just, if you know the demographics, the majority of the DSO industry is women. There are some DSOs that are 85% women, between dentists plus the non-clinical employees. So, when you think about that, and you think about the historic underrepresentation of women in leadership, the mission statement of Women in DSO is access, opportunities, and mentoring. So it's really been just a personal and professional highlight for me being a part of that organization.
It is. I am truly excited to be there at the ARIA. It's in March, right?
March 9th through the 11th.
March 9th through the 11th.
Of 22.
At ARIA in Las Vegas. If you are you don't have to be a DSO to be here. You can be a private practice. You are somebody who needs mentorship, who needs all sorts of a group that can actually help you drive your career in dentistry to the next level. That's the event to attend. What do you see ending? What do you see in store for 2022? Are we going to just keep going at this pace? What are you seeing in terms of like deal volume as it comes to 2022?
I see more of the same. I mean, we're gonna get some clarity on the new tax code. Is what we're gonna get, right? At the beginning of the year, they claimed the capital gains were going to go from 20% to 43.6%.
Right.
Everybody levitated and passed out. I don't think that's going to happen now, but they could go from 20 to 25% or something else, in the middle. Once we get clarity in the tax code, I think that's going to be a big determining factor in what happens. But right now, I'm seeing a robust volume for first quarter of 22. I mean, ourselves included. I don't even want to publicly admit this, but we're at capacity, almost like, you know, well, here we are November 12th.
Right.
I mean, we can't
Right.
close any more deals by year end. We have
Correct.
40 or 50, you know, lined up to close right now, but there is a robust pipeline in line for first quarter. So it's looking to me like it's going to be a very busy year next year, as long as it sticks to what we think the taxes might be, either nothing or a modest 5% increase in capital gains. I think you're going to see more of the same.
I'm going to ask you a last question, and I've asked this to you before, but why should DSOs or emerging groups that are trying to be a DSO, why should they choose Dykema?
Well, I've been in the space as director 27 years. We've done, I think, something like 1,578 dental deals.
Wow.
Okay, and there's been an equal distribution of buy side and sell side, so we've seen absolutely everything that could happen in the market. We know everybody in the market. We understand the buyer's perspective when we're, you know, even when we're on the sell side, we
Right.
know the buyer's perspective. When we're on the buy side, we know the seller's perspective. We've got the best track record of closing deals. We've got the best regulatory track record. We've never had any of our clients' business model invalidated. I mean, think about that, 27 years.
That's
We've
amazing.
never had a single business model we put together and validated. I mean, knock on wood, but it hasn't happened in 27 years. So, you know, we've been in the space the longest. We've done the most deals. We've done the most structures and regulatory analysis. We've seen everything that could possibly happen, and you know, that's the best. And we're fun. We put on a giant event. I think we're fun to work with.
Absolutely, and my experience in you, in I've been participating in many deals that you've been part of, which I've been on boards of,
Yeah.
and what I've seen, Brian's approach and Dykema's approach to M&A or deal making is they're truly consultants. They're going to look out for your best interest. They are not going to just say, all right, well, here's all the paperwork and here's how it's done. It's truly an advisory role from a legal compliance standpoint, so that you're making the best decision that's the best interest of you and not necessarily them. And that's what it's refreshing to see a law firm that truly goes above and beyond in helping people and really trying to solve their problems. The paperwork and the legal stuff, the documents, those are the easy part, in my view at least. But what's hard is finding the right solution to get to what you want to draft, right? That's the key, because not all documents are created equal, not all agreements are created equal, not all structures are created equal. And if you are in this business, if you are thinking about becoming a DSO, if you're thinking about acquiring practices, these are the guys that are going to really walk you through the A through Z process, and the connections that you've made with your customers, and getting them to the right places. Sometimes you don't have all the answers, but you are connecting them with the right, whether it's CPAs, whether it's the compliance guys for insurance, whatever it is, you've got the whole team ready. And that's what excites me about working with you guys and with so many clients of ours that work with you, is they feel happy because they feel that everything is taken care of. And kudos to you, Brian, for building the most amazing legal organization on the planet in this space. And I am excited to see what 2022 does, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with you at these conferences.
Well, thank you, Amal, as always, for having me on your show here on the presentation, and I mean, looking for a great 2022.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.